ladies and gentlemen, we have another new dinosaur today. This one, the articles on this one just started kind of showing up right as I posted the one on the Vespersaurus. So I've been wanting to do this one for a little while, and I finally got the chance to come around and do it. Today we are going to talk about, and I'm going to say this obnoxiously slow, the Aquilarhinus palimentus. Aquilarhinus palimentus. Aquilarhinus palimentus. So the first part of the Aquilarhinus, the first part stands for eagle. The first half of Aquilarhinus, the Aquila part, is eagle in Latin, and the rhinos means nose in Greek, combining eagle nose. Talking about the shape of the nose of this dinosaur, it's very steep downward curve. And the second half of the name of this, the palimentus, pala meaning shovel in Latin, and mentus meaning chin. So the name of this dinosaur is Eagle Nose Shovel Chin. It really amuses me. Insert laughter here. Maybe find a bad laugh track. I don't know. Anyway, so this was a smallish hadrosaurid. Hadrosaurids being the dinosaurs with the beautiful things coming off the back of their heads and like the toot horn noises. This dinosaur was dug up in the 80s, but they really haven't had a chance to sit down and study it closer. They found part of the jaw. They found one half of like the cheek and along the upper jaw, and part of the nose, and a little bit of some body parts. They found it a little farther than when they would expect to find a dinosaur like this. So it's believed that it could have washed downstream. This dinosaur was actually found in West Texas, which, rocks, because, I'm from Texas. Not West Texas. I'm definitely from, east, south parts of Texas. Texas is big. Anyway, at this time, this part of Texas was covered in kind of tidal marshes, swampy kind of areas. What specifically makes this dinosaur's skeleton so interesting, there's two different things. One is its lower jaw, its lower palate. Most hadrosaurs had a U-shaped palate for scooping food and so on, but this dinosaur actually had a almost W-shaped. The outside edges were raised, but also the inside had a raised part rather than just being convex, concave, convex. It kind of goes up, down, up, creating a W-shaped scoop. The other part that makes this dinosaur fascinating is it's actually a more ancient version of a hadrosaurid. It's one of the earlier ones we found, and it does have this nose crest that just kind of gives the dinosaur a very large-looking nose, but people have been discussing about how the big, majestic, beautiful crests of many of the hadrosaurs came from. And there's been a long-running theory that it slowly developed as a bump on the nose and then got bigger and bigger and bigger and then started getting fancy. And we haven't had any proof to that because we've had some missing links. But with the discovery of this dinosaur, people feel like we're getting a little bit closer to having a line of seeing kind of that growth and that development of the bony crest. In most hadrosaurids, the research kind of has an idea that crest was used as a residence chamber to create very long-ranging sounds for communication or mating or something like that. I would imagine since this guy had a much smaller one, it wouldn't have been quite as loud as some of the much later big ones. The skull length of this guy was probably about 26 centimeters and 57 centimeters. So it's pretty small, at least the individual that was discovered. And we only have the one individual at this time. Where this dinosaur was found, this dinosaur is from The Cretaceous period is believed 145.5 million to 65 million years ago. And it's really neat just because it's so ancient compared to a lot of the other hadrosaurs and other herbivorous dinosaurs. It's linked to later duck-billed dinosaurs and other hadrosaurids who were the most common plant-eating dinosaurs of the Mesozoic era. This dinosaur is found in the Agulla Formation in western Texas. For a long time, people had not found very many fossils, especially large fossils, in the layer of Earth that this dinosaur was found. Usually when fossilization happens, the closer you get to the surface, the more modern it is. The farther down you go, the more ancient it is, unless there's some geological reason for that not to be true. So in the upper layers, they found, vertebrates and other things. But as they've gotten lower, they've had trouble finding any large animals with skeletal remains. They mostly found like lizards and small things. So it was neat to find evidence of something so large, even though it's smaller than its Cretaceous, not ancestors. That's the opposite of ancestors. Future generations? So what was this dinosaur's deal? So it was believed to have lived in tidal marshes at the time. So a mix of freshwater, verging on saltwater, small brushes, not a lot of trees, lots of water-bearing plants, lots of mud, lots of goop. And they believe that this specific W-shaped palate, shovel chin, evolved scooping up waterlogged plants kind of at the roots and pulling them up and grazing from kind of like soggy swamp fauna. All in all, it's really cool. It's not a flashy dinosaur. It's not super crazy neat. It doesn't walk around on one toe, but it is important. Hadrosaurs are found all over the world. They were incredibly common, and we haven't really known where they started and kind of where they became so unique. So it's really cool to see their ancestor to kind of figure that out. And it's a dinosaur from Texas. I gotta be partial to something like that. I like it. As far as artwork goes, I really enjoyed doing this one. What I did is I did a bunch of thumbnails and rough sketches on my computer. I then kind of traced it very lightly on the paper and then went back over it with pencil. Doing the colors for these guys, I looked at animals that live today in tidal marshes and things like that. And there's very few big animals. There's lots of deer, but then it's toads and crabs and small things. But I did notice there are coyotes, or wolves, or deer, and they all have this fawn, brown, muted, orangey color. So I actually based the color for these guys off of a mix between a red deer and a red wolf. So nice, neutral, muddy colors. I am so proud of the water and the background and just the environment in this one. It looks so nice, and you can see things and the reflections in the water, and it's so pretty, and I like it. And I am really proud of this artwork. I don't know what to do with it. I'm not sure if people would be interested in buying a print of something like this or having it put on anything, but I think it's a really nice piece of art. I feel like I've given you some amount of education about these guys and kind of where they're from and why they're important. And yeah. I hope you like Mr. Eagle Nose Shovel Chin. I hope you learned something today. If there's any dinosaurs that you've heard about that you want to know more, or anything that you think I might have missed, because I don't always catch them when they're fresh, comment below with what you would like to learn about or anything that you've learned yourself. And like and subscribe. Yeah. I do want to take a moment to thank my patrons. I have patrons now. Oh, it happened today and I have so many feelings about it. But, thank you, Hans. Thank you, totally my mom. I love you, Mom. And thank you, the wonderful Jamie Carr. All of you are amazing. Thank you for supporting me. But for now, thank you so much for showing me love. And everybody, I'll see you later. Bye.